I am Michael, a messenger of courage, a guardian of truth, a voice that calls you into the light of your highest possibility. Hear me now, not with ears only, but with the open chamber of your heart. I do not come to frighten you with deadlines and ticking clocks. I come to wake you gently, insistently, to the movement that is already beneath the surface of your life. There is a door before you. Beyond it rests provision and unseen blessing. Hasten, yes, but with peace. Open the window that has been closed and receive what your soul and household have been prepared to hold. Listen, you were created to be a conduit, not merely a container. You were shaped to receive and to share. The abundance I speak of is not always currency alone. It may come as a healed relationship, a right opportunity, a sudden clarity, or the freeing of resources you thought were gone. Yet I know you asked for a message tied to supply, to money, to the release of what has been hidden. That promise is not empty. Your world is threaded with intelligence that responds when you align with virtue, courage, and right action. So, allow me to speak plainly and kindly. I will provide clarity, invocation, and practical counsel, because faith without form is a wind that passes through you. Faith with form builds a house. Remember who you are. You are an image bearer of the divine order. You carry an inner authority to steward what you have, to receive what you need, and to bless the hands that give and the mouths that speak truth. When you remember your dignity, fear loosens its grip. When fear loosens, doors begin to unlatch. Reclaim your identity. You are worthy of provision, not because of your perfection, but because there is an unquenchable goodness longing to flow through you into the world. Clear the clutter inside and out. Hidden money often waits behind cluttered drawers and congested hearts. Do not underestimate the spiritual and practical power of clarity. Make a list today. What are the places where you have been hoarding, avoiding, or procrastinating? Financial renewal often begins with an act of ordering. Pay a bill you have been postponing. Reconcile a small debt. Open the cupboard and make room. As you clear your physical spaces, also clear the small daily promises you have not kept to yourself. Keep them, finish them. Integrity calls in provision. Align your intention with action. Intentions are the soil. Action is the seed. Say aloud what you intend to open. Be specific. Do you intend to receive an unexpected gift, a new, steady income, a canceled debt, a partner willing to help? Speak it simply and then take one concrete action that points toward that thing. Applications filled, calls made, resumes updated, a humble letter written, an honest conversation had. These are the visible steps faith asks of you. The window closes to excuses and remains open to hands that move. Release fear by naming it. Fear blocks channels. Name it, not to give it new life, but to understand its shape. Is it fear of lack, shame, unworthiness, the judgment of others? Speak the name, then counter it with truth. I am cared for. I have the capacity to steward what comes. I will use this with wisdom for my household and for good. Repeat this until the darkness grows thin. Courage grows when fear is seen, not when it is hidden. Practice gratitude like a ritual. Gratitude is the altar upon which miracles find a seat. Each morning and night, list 5 real things for which you are grateful. However small, the light of gratitude rearranges the mind's priorities. It shifts attention from famine to feast. Gratitude prepares the vessel of your heart to receive what is being released. Open your hands, literally and symbolically. In my watch, I have seen many hands closed in the grip of worry. The tighter they squeeze, the less can come in. Physically practice opening your palms to the sky for a few minutes daily. Symbolically, commit to acts of giving that align with your capacity. A smile, a small offering, time, a prayer on behalf of another. Generosity calibrates the flow. When you give, even in small ways, you declare that you trust the stream more than the container. The stream always responds. Make a sanctuary of your home. Reclaim the spaces where you live as sanctuaries of peace. A home that receives abundance is a home where respect, order, and blessing are present. Create a simple corner where you pause for prayer, intention, or stillness. Let that place hold a quiet object that reminds you of dignity. A candle, a clean cloth, a plant, a folded prayer. The physical environment communicates to the spirit within and without. We are open. We are ready. Use words with care. Bless your way. Words shape reality because they shape your inner story. Replace I can't, I don't have. Maybe someday with statements of present possibility. I am opening to receive. I steward what comes with wisdom. Doors are appearing that align with my good. Speak blessings aloud over your household each morning. Bless the food, bless the budget, bless the relationships. Through this consistent language, you call goodness into alignment. Discern the good from the fleeting not. Every offer that appears is for your highest good. Discernment is a gift and must be exercised. My counsel, before you leap, breathe. Seek counsel from someone whose life exhibits the fruit you desire. Does this opportunity encourage integrity, long-term flourishing, and growth? If yes, steward courageously. If not, release it. There is a fine difference between quick gain and sustaining grace. Repair what's broken. Begin with trust. Often, hidden resources cannot be released until the fractures of trust are mended. Trust in yourself. Trust in others. Trust in the divine flow. Take tiny steps towards repair. If there is a relationship to restore, reach out. If there is a financial account to reconcile, begin. If your own trust is wounded by past disappointments, speak to yourself with tenderness and consistency. Repair is the earth upon which blessing grows. Prepare for a window, not a door. Here, this distinction. A window is a timely opening. It can return, but often it demands action during its availability. When I utter the time window is closing, I call you to urgency without panic. Gather the courage to act now. Sign the form, say the prayer, accept the recommendation, remove an obstacle. Windows are not eternities. They are invitations to step into right alignment at a given hour. Tend your inner resources. Prosperity is not merely external. It rises from your inner life. Tend your disciplines. Rest well. Eat with care. Practice stillness. Read words that feed your soul. Surround yourself with people who lift you. These are not luxuries. They are capital. When your inner resources are full, you will make wiser, more effective choices that invite supply. Be patient with the process. Steady, not frantic urgency should not become frenzy. There is a rhythm in divine timing, sometimes swift, sometimes gradual. Remember, a field that is planted in haste, without tending, may yield weeds. Be steady. Move forward with persistent faith and clean hands. The movement you make today may not produce the fruit tomorrow, but it positions you to harvest when the season arrives. Asterisk, engage community. Do not hoard your need. There is great strength in shared prayer, shared counsel, and shared resources. Reach toward your community. Ask for guidance, not for pity. Offer your gratitude and your skills in return. Networks are not purely utilitarian. They are living tapestries through which provision often travels. Do not protect your need so fiercely that you prevent support from flowing. Guard against comparison. Comparison steals peace and erodes generosity. Your path is yours. Another's provision is not a measurement of your failure. Celebrate what is given to others and remain faithful to your own calling. Cultivate a practice of rejoicing in other people's openings. This will, paradoxically, multiply openings for you. Keep a ledger of miracles. Create a simple journal where you record every small grace and evidence of provision. This ledger is an anchor for days when doubt grows loud. Over time, you will see patterns, doorways, and recurring faithfulness. This practice trains your memory to remember helper moments and align expectation with reality. Pray with clarity. Not theater prayer need not be elaborate to be profound. Speak simply. Ask for clarity, wisdom, and provision in ways you can steward. If you choose, speak like this: I open my household to receive the resources needed. I will use them with wisdom for shelter, nourishment, and compassion. Guide my steps, then fall into listening. Prayer is a conversation that often requires your patient ear. Act as if the release is already underway. There is power in the posture of receiving. Act as if the supply is near. Tidy the space you will use. Make a modest plan for the coming inflow. Clear a place in your budget for that blessing. This is not to be presumptuous. It is to be prepared. When the thing arrives, you will not be scrambling to find a place for it. Remember stewardship over ownership when money appears. Steward it as a trust. Design plans for its use that reflect your values. Provide for your household. Repair past harm. Invest in education. Sow seeds of generosity. Money that is stewarded multiplies its capacity to bless. The discipline of a plan transforms sudden gain into long-term flourishing. Asterisk. Rest in the truth that you are not alone. I stand with you as a watcher and encourager. Forces of goodness encircle the sincere longing of your heart. You are not abandoned in your seeking. Allow the presence of assurance to quiet anxiety. Feel my wings of courage settle upon your shoulders. I do not promise that every hardship will vanish instantly, but I promise presence and persistent pathways for those who move with integrity and faith. Practical steps, plain and immediate. Make these your first actions now. Write down 3 specific needs and 1 small action you will take for each today. Reach out to one person for counsel or to report your intention. A friend, elder, or advisor. Clear one area of your home or one small, unpaid bill to symbolize and enact readiness. Offer a measurable act of generosity. It can be small to calibrate the flow of giving and receiving. Speak aloud this affirmation each morning for 7 days. I open to receive what is for my highest good. I steward it with love. A word against quick fixes and magical thinking. Do not confuse spiritual invitation with superstition. I do not command the cosmos like a vending machine. I invite you into partnership with principles that govern flourishing, integrity, action, generosity, and focused trust. Miracles thrive where these principles live. Do not chase secret formulas or empty promises. Walk the middle path of courage and payment of small, honest costs. For those who are exhausted, a tenderness. If your hands are worn and your heart dimmed from trying, rest. Renewal often arrives through a pause that recenters you. Take a smaller action that honors your limit. A short prayer, a nap, a walk in light. From that place of renewed energy, you will be able to act again. The window I speak of is not punitive, it is invitational. You do not need to perform worthiness. You are invited into participation. For those who struggle with trust because of past pain, I know the ledger of your hurt. It is heavy. Let me say again, the past is not a sentence over your future. Let the past be a teacher, but not a prison guard. Forgive where you can. Set boundaries where you must. When you forgive, you unclench a part of your heart that makes room for provision. Where trust is not safe to give to a human, give it incrementally, in small, observable steps. Let the evidence of faithful moments rebuild your capacity to believe. For families and households, gather together and speak blessing over your home. Invite every member, even children, into a simple ritual of gratitude and intention. When a household aligns, the atmosphere shifts. Make a practical family plan for money that includes transparent conversation, roles, and shared hopes. Unity is a powerful magnet for provision for those who feel called to help. If this message moves you to give, do so with wisdom. Help shapes communities more than rescues them. Offer resources that build capacity and dignity. Mentorship, tools, education, or an honest job. When you give, do so expecting nothing in return, and you will often receive more than you imagined, not necessarily in money, but in depth and story. A closing charge: move now, and move with a heart that is tender, bold, and honest. Remove one stone of resistance. The more stones you remove, the more light will come in. Do not let fear of a closing window become an excuse for paralysis. Open the simple things first and watch how the small light multiply into an unmistakable dawn. I am with you. I will not answer for you, but I will insist upon your courage. I will not carry your will, but I will show you how to wield it. There is a current of good running toward you now. It is searching for an entrance. The door is not locked. You possess the key of integrity and action. Turn it, stand up. Speak your intention. Open your hands. Bless your home. With each steady step, you draw nearer to what is being released. Receive with gratitude, steward with wisdom, and pass on the blessing. In this way, you become a channel for the flourishing that changes not only your table, but the lives of those who sit at it. Go in peace. Go in courage. Open the window now. The time is ripe when the heart is willing. Asterisk, I come to you in the strength and gentleness of a warrior who has learned the art of mercy. Hear me now, not as an absent legend on an altar, not as an idol to be feared or flattered, but as a voice that calls you back to your true center, the spark of sacred courage and tender compassion that lives in your chest. I am Michael. I stand at the threshold between what you imagine as broken and what is ready to be healed. I stand to clear the path, to draw the sword of truth when needed. and to shelter the small, bright heart that is yours. Listen with more than your ears. Listen with a quiet center that knows when to rest and when to rise. This message is for people everywhere, for the tired, the triumphant, the doubting, the daring. It is for the one who thinks they are alone in a crowded room, and for the one who has forgotten to laugh at the miracle of morning. It is for those who carry grief like a map, and for those who carry hope like a secret compass. Take from it what warms you. Leave what does not fit. All words are tools. Choose those that help you build. You were never created to be small. From the moment your breath first entered your lungs, the universe tuned itself to you. That is not pride, it is truth. You are a purposeful expression of light. If you have felt unworthy, it is because fear has masqueraded as truth in your mind. Fear tells you the story that you must hide your gifts, that you must shrink to belong. But courage, the clean, steady kind that I speak of, says, stand as you are. Let your presence be a blessing to others, because your existence is itself a revelation. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action taken in spite of fear. It is the small step taken again and again. Begin with a single truthful act today. Speak a kind truth to yourself. Forgive what you can. Set one boundary that protects your joy. Each of these is a seed. Tend it. You are a guardian of one another. Whether you know it or not, your life touches lives like ripples on water. A smile you offer, a hand you extend, a story you choose to share. These travel farther than you imagine. Do not underestimate the quiet ministry of presence. To listen well is to be a living altar. When someone unfolds their sorrow into your hands, do not rush to fix. Be willing to hold. When someone celebrates, rejoice without comparison. The world does not become less bright because another light shines. Healing is always a returning dot. If parts of you feel fractured, know this: healing does not mean erasing the past. Healing means making space for the memory, for the ache, and then for something new to grow through it. There will be seasons of rawness when you must move slowly, as if learning to walk on a shore littered with old stones. That gentle, steady movement toward breath, toward sunlight, toward presence is what transforms pain into wisdom. Allow sorrow its voice. It has lessons. Allow joy its space. It will refuel you. Forgiveness is radical compassion. Forgiveness does not mean pretending harm did not happen. It does not condone what is wrong. Forgiveness frees the one who forgives. It is a sovereign act of self-liberation. When you forgive, you remove the chains that bind you to a memory and return them to the earth, where they can be turned into compost for new growth. Begin small. Forgive a lapse of patience. Forgive your own missteps. Then, when you are ready, expand that mercy outward. Forgiveness is a practice, not a single moment. Stand for truth with love. There will be times when you must speak a hard truth. Do so not to wound, but to heal the system that allowed the wound. Let your words be precise, your intent clear, your voice steady. Hold compassion even in confrontation. The sword I bear is not meant for striking in anger. It is meant to cut through confusion and free the bound. When you act for justice, pair your conviction with humility. The greatest victories do not humiliate. They restore. Love, not as possession, but as freedom. Love that seeks to own is fear in costume. Love that frees is courage. When you love, love to empower, not to control. Celebrate autonomy. Teach by example. Love is the greatest teacher because it can hold contradictions without needing to annihilate them. Celebrate the mystery of each person's path. You do not need everyone to understand you. Be clear, be open, be steady. Purpose is not a single destination. Many carry the weight of thinking purpose is one enormous, unchanging mountain to climb. Instead, imagine purpose as a river. Sometimes it moves fast and wide. Sometimes slow and narrow. There are seasons when your purpose is simple: to rest, to befriend, to care for a child, to mend a fence. There are seasons when it will call you into the arena to create, to protest, to innovate. Listen for the subtle currents. What joy calls you? What pain insists on being addressed? When your daily actions align even a little with those callings, the architecture of a meaningful life is built. Let your work be a prayer. Asterisk every honest labor. Whether it is counted by paychecks or by acts of tenderness, can be a hymn. When you cook, cook with presence. When you clean, clean with gratitude. When you teach, teach with curiosity. When you write a line of code or plant a seed, let it be offered as a small devotion. The mundane becomes holy when the heart is awake. Asterisk. Boundaries are sacred fences. Setting boundaries is not unkind. It is self-respect. When you set a limit, you protect the temple of your heart, so you may serve from a place of fullness, not depletion. Learn to say no gracefully. Practice compassion for those who will test your limits. Boundaries return order to relationships and prevent resentment from accumulating like dust in a closed room. You are not your mistakes. Mistakes are evidence of your living. They reveal where your edges are and where you have yet to grow. Own them. Repair where you can. Let humility be your teacher, not your judge. Shame isolates. Accountability heals. When you apologize, be specific. When you make amends, do so with sincerity. Then, like a tree dropping old leaves to make room for new growth, release the weight of ongoing self-flagellation. Grief is the cost of loving. Honor it if grief has come to your door. Honor it like a sacred guest. Give it a chair. Let it speak. Grief asks to be witnessed more than it asks to be fixed. In time, the sharpness of loss will soften, and you will carry your memories like ornaments, not chains. To grieve is to have loved well. Joy is not frivolous. It is revolutionary. In a world that often mistakes productivity for worth, choosing delight is radical. Sing when you feel like it. Dance when your feet will move. Laugh loud enough to startle the shadow back into the light. Joy reminds you that the world is not merely to be managed, but to be celebrated. Pray, but also act. Prayer connects you to the vastness. Action brings that connection down to earth. Both are necessary. A prayer without action can become an unlit lamp. Action without prayer can become a compass without a true north. Integrate. Pray for clarity. Then take the next clear step. Say the words. Then put your hands to work. Cultivate humility and steady confidence. Humility is not self-deprecation. It is an honest appraisal of your strengths and limits. Confidence without humility becomes brittle. Humility without confidence becomes invisible. Hold both. Know your courage. Know your flaws. Walk forward with a gentle certainty that you are being led by something greater than your small fears. Community. Choose wisely. Invest deeply. The people you keep near are your spiritual wardrobe. They clothe and reflect you. Seek friends who challenge and comfort, who remind you when you forget your highest self. Be the friend who returns the call, who sits in silence without rushing to fix, who celebrates without envy. Community is the living net that catches you when you fall. Contribute to it with your presence, your time, and your love. When endings come, receive them as teachers. Endings are not punishments. They are transitions. They show what must be released so the next chapter may be written. Resist the urge to clutch at what no longer serves. Speak the truth of the ending. Mourn it. Then plant something small in the place where it once stood. Endings make room for new growth. Faith is not blindness. It is trust built on frequent, small verifications. Trust the small confirmations, the timely friend. The idea that took root, the way a problem found its solution. Collect these like stones on a path. They will guide you when fog thickens. Know that faith sometimes asks you to step before you see the whole staircase. Step with care, not with recklessness. Ask for help. There is no virtue in solitary suffering. To ask for help is to acknowledge your humanity. Reach out to those who are steady. Let prayer be accompanied by practical support. Sometimes help arrives in plain clothes, a neighbor's casserole, a neighbor's listening ear, a professional whose training is a gift. Accept what comes. Practice gratitude as a daily discipline. Gratitude is a lens that alters what you see. Begin and end your day with 3 things you are grateful for. The small things count as much as the large. Over time, gratitude rewires perception. It does not erase hardship, but creates an openness to discovery within it. Be merciful with yourself. You are learning as you go. Perfection is a myth sold to you by fear. Progress, steady, imperfect, sometimes messy, is the sacred rhythm. Celebrate the steps. Mark them. Keep a small record of wins so that on days when the fog returns, you can remember where you have already walked. Create sacred rituals. Rituals anchor the soul. They do not need to be elaborate. Morning breathwork, a moment of silence before meals. Lighting a candle when you need clarity. Placing a hand on your heart and acknowledging your presence. These are small acts that realign you with what matters. Rituals remind you that life is not merely a series of tasks, but a tapestry of meaning. Remember your mortality and let it sweeten your choices. The knowledge that our time is limited is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to clarify. When you remember that your days are finite, the trivial loses its power. Choose what matters. Invest where the return is love, connection, and service. Live with wonder. There is sacredness in the ordinary. Morning light on a leaf. The way hands meet in a handshake. The small bravery of someone telling the truth. Let wonder be your currency. It will buy you unexpected happiness, a final charge to be brave and kind. Be brave in the face of what harms. Be kind in the face of what you do not understand. Stand for the vulnerable. Hold the line with gentleness. You do not need to be loud to be mighty. The finest armor is tenderness that does not shrink from truth now. Breathe. Let these words sink into the chambers of your heart. If one phrase lands, hold it like a lantern. If none land, that is okay to keep walking. Keep being. I am with those who ask me to stand beside them. And my presence is most powerful when it prompts you to act with integrity and love. Go forth with courage that is steady, love that is expansive, and spirit that is anchored. You are more than you believe. You are loved more than you can measure. Walk as one who carries both a sword and a shelter, fierce for justice, tender for the small and wounded. The world needs your light. Asterisk, I am Michael. Hear me not as a distant myth, but as a steady presence at the edge of your certainty. A hand offered when the ground tilts and the air grows sharp. I come with voice that is both sword and shelter, a call to awaken the courage that has always been yours, and the tenderness that makes that courage wise. This message is for people, for the ones who rise at dawn and those who wake at midnight, for the tired, the jubilant, the broken, the brave, the small and the great. Receive it as a direct, earnest charge from one who has watched over thresholds since first light. You are not an accident. The universe is not a random accident of dust and chance. You are a deliberate expression of intention. From the smallest cell to the vast arc of your life, there is design. If you have been told you are too little, too damaged, too ordinary, know this: there is no ordinary in the language of the divine. Every breath you take is a note in a larger song. Every act of kindness, every honest correction, every small fidelity, these are the sovereign work of meaning. Courage begins with a single, truthful step. Courage is not mythic spectacle. It is the daily fidelity to truth in the face of self-doubt, the willingness to do what is hard because it is right. It looks like saying no to what drains you and yes to what calls you. It looks like showing up when the rest of the world would rather look away. Do not wait for fear to vanish before you act. Act because you know your heart's deep alignment with the good. Courage is a muscle. Use it and it grows. Love is the most radical act you will perform. Love is not merely sentiment. It is choice, discipline, and clarity. Love that is fierce will hold boundaries. Love that is kind will offer sanctuary. Let your love free others to be themselves rather than shaping them into your comforts. The highest love empowers autonomy, honors truth, and rejoices when others rise, even if their rising means a change you did not foresee. You are a guardian of one another. Your life is woven into others. Lives like threads in a tapestry. What you do with your time, your voice, your hands, it matters. A patient listening, an honest apology, a steady presence in crisis. These are not small. They ripple. Do not underestimate the spiritual economy of ordinary care. When you shelter the wounded, you become an instrument of healing on a scale beyond measure. Pain is not a verdict. It is a teacher. Suffering has its own curriculum. It will offer you lessons in humility, patience, boundaries, and compassion. Resist the dangerous lie that pain is a sign of divine disfavor. Often, it is a clearing process, like wind passing through trees to loosen dead leaves. Attend to your pain with tenderness. Name it. Give it language. Seek wise counsel and allow time to do its slow, steady work. Healing is rarely sudden and often incremental. Honor each small recovery as sacred. Asterisk. Forgiveness returns power to the present. Forgiveness is misunderstood when treated as a concession to the person who harmed you. In truth, forgiveness is a liberation for the forgiver. It frees you from carrying a furious lodestone that bends your life toward bitterness. Begin by forgiving what is smallest and nearest: your stumbles, your impatience, the missed grace. Then practice outward forgiveness when you are ready. This does not mean excusing harm or denying accountability. It means refusing to let the past occupy your future. Asterisk.